Hello, and welcome to a viewer-submitted Sudoku. This puzzle is submitted by Michael Lefkowitz. Michael is someone who you may or may not actually know. They set the Knight Takes Bishop puzzle that I posted during my vacation, and Michael, he left a comment stating that if I was really interested in a chess puzzle, that I should try this one that he set. I took a look at it this morning. It's if you can see the rules right now, you can see that it's quite involved, but I think it'll be well worth at least an attempt here. Hopefully, an actual solve. But yeah, I'll stop my rambling here, and we will jump into the puzzle. It is called 36 Chessmen by Michael. Normal Sudoku rules do not apply. Place the numbers 1 to 6 in the grid such that each occurs 6 times. So standardly, we would say every row, column, and in a 6 by 6, every 2 by 3 box contains the digits 1 to 6 once each. But in this case, we don't have that. We just need to place the digits 1 to 6 in the grid such that each occurs 6 times. That means theoretically we could have, 6 ones like this, 6 twos like this, 6 threes like this, and so on and so forth, where, sorry, that 3 in the corner is not deserved. So we're going to have to figure out how these placement works, and the placements will have to follow the rules that I'm going to state here. The sum of the digits in a cage obeys the mathematical description in the cage's corner, where the exclamation mark means not. That's just like a standard thing, I guess, in like programming or Boolean algebra. But anyways, digits may repeat in the cage if allowed by other rules. So here, for example, these two digits actually will sum to 10. Um, and normally we may not have repeated digits, but we can in this case, which opens up some options here. But this, for example, must be less than 6. So this cage must be less than 6. This one must be greater than 22. This one must be not 4. So 1, 2, 3, 5, or 6, I guess. So on and so forth throughout the grid here, as long as they satisfy the mathematical expression. Then we need to understand something about these digits that we're placing. Each value, 1 to 6, represents a different chess piece. King, queen, bishop, rook, knight, and pawn. We, as the solvers, must determine which value stands for which piece. And I guess I'll preface this. If you're not familiar with how these chess pieces move, I'll almost certainly mention it while I'm solving the puzzle, but I'm not going to sit here and explain them. If you are interested in, I guess, learning how these chess pieces move, then I would recommend, going to. There's plenty of online resources for that. Um, I think chess is just fun in general, so if you don't know how to play chess, I would recommend learning it. But anyways, I won't formally explain that. So we'll just go through the rest of the rules, and hopefully if you needed to look up how the pieces moved, you did. Two cells may not contain the same digit if one of the cells could move to the other cell according to standard chess rules. For example, if ones were queens, two ones could not occur in the same row, column, or diagonal. If they were knights, they could not occur, a knight's move apart, and so on. So, if we said one was a queen, then I guess Michael is doing some work for us here. He's telling us that queens can't see their row, column, and diagonal. So what that means for us is if we need to place another queen in this grid, it needs to go in one of these cells that I haven't marked. So that's what we'll have to do. And the same thing goes for the knight's move and so on. Pawns can always move one space upwards. Pawns on the second rank from the bottom are on their home square and can also move two spaces upwards. Pawns can move diagonally upwards, as they do when capturing in chess. Pawns cannot appear on the first rank. And any pawn on the sixth rank must be promoted. It retains the value of 1, but moves as if it were a queen, rook, bishop, or knight. You may choose which. So the pawn rules are a little bit complicated, again, if you're not familiar with chess, but if you are, then it makes kind of perfect sense. Pawns can appear on the first rank. Pawns on the second rank, let's say this was a 1, pawns on the first rank can move forward 2 squares on their first turn. All other pawns on the board can only move forward 1 square, and pawns always attack diagonally. So a pawn on the first rank will see all of these squares. Or sorry, the second rank will see all of these squares. A pawn on the third rank will see these squares, as well as a pawn on the fourth or fifth rank. But a pawn on the sixth rank gets promoted. So because the pawn has made it to the end of the board, we reward the player who did that by allowing them to promote the piece or the pawn to a piece. And if we had a bunch of ones, let's say like a 1 here, or that wouldn't work by diagonal rule. If this was a 1 and we say ones are pawns, then one example is we couldn't say that this 1 promoted to a knight, because if this 1 promoted to a knight, it would see this 1 by knight's move, and it would be incorrect. So we could maybe say that this 1 has promoted to a bishop, and it misses this 1 here. All right, and the last thing is actually a little hint that I don't have written in the description here. It is something that Michael told us, that if we haven't encountered the 6 queens puzzle before, Googling it may make this puzzle significantly easier. And actually, it's interesting because on Logic Masters Germany, where I pulled this puzzle from, he does not give the hint in this way where he just says Google it. He actually gives a link to a puzzle, I guess, page. I don't know what I would call it, but I'm going to go over to that and I set a little scene real quick, so bear with me. Here we have the brainbashers.com, um, and they have this 6 queens puzzle. I have done the 8 queens puzzle before, where you need to place 8 queens on a standard 8x8 chessboard, such that none of them see each other. But in this case, we're placing 6 queens on the board. So I played with this a little bit, and I found the orientation that allows 6 queens to be placed. And it's this very nice pattern here, where we have this kind of I don't know what you want to call it, like a parallelogram type shape, but it's they follow these knight move kind of shape here. And this is the way that you could place 6 queens on a 6x6 board, which will certainly be important because we need to place 6 digits that are queens on the board in some fashion. And we know it'll appear like this, or any rotation or flip. Chess is interesting in that any pieces that aren't pawns can move in any direction equally, essentially. So any puzzle that you have that doesn't include pawns can be rotated, flipped, what have you. So this orientation works as well as, as well as this orientation. This is also valid. We could also flip it this way across the face, and this is also a valid orientation. So there's 4 possible ways to actually solve this puzzle that are all rotationally symmetric or flipped to each other. So we'll have to keep that in mind as we are going through and actually solving this puzzle here. And yeah, hopefully that all made sense. Those are the rules. Let's jump right into it. All right, so almost 10 minutes for the rules explanation there, but I think that it was well worth it. So now the question is, where do we want to start? I guess we could start with 10, because equaling 10 is something that's interesting. Because to equal 10, normally in a standard, 6x6 Sudoku, I would say that this has to be a 4-6 pair. But given that normal Sudoku rules do not apply and digits may repeat if allowed by other rules, we can actually place double fives in this cage. 5 would just have to be a piece excuse me, a piece. Let me actually scroll to the pieces so I have them as a reference as I start checking them off. As long as it's a piece that doesn't, interact with itself. So for example, if these were both pawns, that would be fine. We would just have to promote them to a piece that doesn't see each other. These could both be bishops or they could both be knights, for example. So we'll have to figure that out as we go through. But no guarantees there. Greater than 22. 24 is our maximum. So, and that's 6 by 4. So we could have 23, which would be triple six with 5, or, yeah, or we could have quadruple six. So this is either, how do I even mark that? I don't know. I'll just have to remember that. I don't know how to mark that where I say only one of these can be a 5, or at most one of these could be a 5. So we need at least three sixes here. So one of the things we'll probably have to do, I've had my work day to kind of think about this puzzle. I wasn't like solving it, I guess, per se, but I was trying to think how to approach it because when I looked at it this morning, like I said, I saw that the rules were very involved. So one of the things that could definitely help is tracking how many times we use a digit. So for example, if we say that this has to contain a 6, then we know we've accounted for 4 6s. Um, and actually that's interesting because how can we place king, queen, bishop, rook, knight, pawn? I think the only way that that works is if 6 is a knight. Because if we need at least 3, and of course, any of these are rotationally symmetric to each other. So no matter how we place this, a king would definitely see itself, a queen would definitely see itself, a bishop would definitely see itself, so would a rook and a pawn. So 6 has to be knights. I don't know how to mark that, but that will be pretty they'll be pretty helpful. So we've eliminated knights as an option for any other digit. I think king, queen, bishop, rook, knight, pawn. I think 6 has to be a knight. So I think we're good there. 6, 5. I guess we can do the easy pencil markings like this not being 4, and I will pencil mark it. It might seem silly, but I think heavy pencil marking will actually be helpful in this puzzle. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Less than 5 means it comes from the set 1, 2, 3, 4. Less than 5 and less than 6 are interesting. So how do we make less than 5? We can never use 4 because it would have to be 4, 0, and that doesn't exist. So it could be 3, 1, which is our maximum. If we use less than 3, then we could go 2, 2, or 2, 1, or we could do double ones. So those are all of our options. So essentially, we have like a 1, 2, 3 set there. We probably have something similar going on with less than 6 because 6 in 3 digits generally is 1, 2, 3. So less than 6 means we have to do like 3, 1, 1 or 2, 2, 1 or just like 1, 1, 1. That's also an option, but I'm just trying to think what my limiting numbers are. So 1, 2, and 3 are going to be also valid here. 6 here is actually, I don't know why I looked at this 6 before I looked at this 6, because less than 6 in 4 digits is definitely limiting. If you need to make 5 in, sorry, I'm blanking because I'm sorry, I'm not blanking. I'm taking a pause because I'm realizing that, at least I think, oh no, no, yes. Okay, so in my head I was thinking that it had to be triple one, but specifically like this, and two. But then I was like, well, can't it be quadruple one? But actually, no, it can't be quadruple one because what chess piece wouldn't see itself in the horizontal, in the diagonal, in the knight's move, in the king's move? Like, it's not possible. And it definitely can't be one because it's on the first rank. So, I think it has to be triple one like this with two here, which is really great because those are our first digits. One now, if it sees each other like this, the only way that this works, because we know it can't be a knight, because we looked at this, means it must be a bishop. So one is a bishop. That makes sense. So six is a knight, one is a bishop, which actually means we can't have triple one, which I guess we couldn't have had anyways because we would have, in order to have triple in this shape, we've already established it needs to be a knight, and we know that already six is a knight. So it definitely has to use at least one, two, if not two twos, and or at least one, three. And in either case, oh no, sorry, two, two, oh, but two, two, wait, sorry. 2 2 couldn't be like this because the only thing. Oh no, but 2 could be. Sorry. 2 2 could be like this because 2 could be a pawn. And 2 on the second rank would see all these cells, and 2 here would see these cells all together, but they wouldn't see each other. So you'd have 2 2 with 1 here. And actually, none of these ones, what I should have been thinking about, well, I guess actually I can think about it here, is that this one sees this by bishop, but what I was trying to say was none of these are seen by a bishop's move here. So we're set. Greater than 7, I have literally zero idea what I'm supposed to do with that. And less than 8, I have no idea. Hmm. And if we did have double 1 here, again, these ones don't interact with the ones here, and actually, these ones don't interact with this here because of the gap, right? Even if we wanted to, the one doesn't interact. So all right. 2 is a candidate for pawn. If 2 was a pawn, it couldn't go here. Oh, this is where, okay, sorry. This is probably what I need to do. I was talking about considering how many sixes we have, but we already have 3 1s on the board. I think we've said that this has to contain, oh no, it could be 2 2, couldn't it? It could be 2 2. Though, if 2 is a pawn, it couldn't be 2 2. The only way we could stack like that actually is if it was a bishop or a knight. So no, it can't do that. Actually, that's really interesting because that means because 6 and 1 have already claimed, I guess, the ability to stack. I was going to say horizontally or vertically, but no, I was literally talking about double twos here for pawns. So just vertically, ones and sixes have taken away the ability for other digits to stack vertically, which actually means that there's a 1 here. We have 3 1s here, so that's 4. There's at least 1 here, if not 2 here. If there are 2 here, then we've accounted for all of our 1s, and this wouldn't be allowed to be 1, but just given the fact that it's less than 5 doesn't exactly do it for me. Just trying to see if there are interactions that I'm missing here. How does the 666 interact with the cells around here? And actually, even better, how does a quadruple six? Because quadruple six will be our limiting case, right? Quadruple six is a full set of knights, which would see I think all the cells contained herein. So if this was quadruple six, that would actually be fine because we could place 6 here. We'd have another 1, which is allowed. Or we could even just have our double 6 here and they wouldn't see anything by knight's move. This would be 5-5, which would mean 5 has to be a pawn, which means it can't be 2-2. If this was 4-6, then it would be 6. 6 would cease at that, so then you would have 6 like this. I'm just not seeing I'm just not seeing the interaction. Why that's really valuable. One of those versions sees this cell, but again, not 4 is not, at least not at this stage, I don't think it's helpful. I just don't know what I'm not considering here. Michael, he did say that there's some tricky logic in this, but it can't be that, like I can't be stuck already essentially. There has to be something. King, queen, bishop, rook, knight, pawn. Queen, so queen is a problem, right? We've already shown that there's only 4 orientations for a queen. Knight bishop isn't going to do much for us right now. Rook pawn king, we don't have anything. So this is maybe where we need to consider that little queen puzzle that we did before. Um, all right, let's actually do some color coding here. Let's actually do some color coding here. This is one version of the queen's move. This is another version of the queen's move, which looks like it's valid, because the red definitely isn't valid, because we know that 1 can't be a queen. Yellow is valid. Actually, this won't be valid either. Okay. I understand what I was missing now. So this triple one, I guess what I didn't realize when I was going through and doing that queen puzzle, which I think if I move off this page, it might pause the time, but if it doesn't, it's not a big deal. Um, I guess going back to this queen puzzle, what I didn't consider is that in every version, we use one of these bottom 4 cells. So one variation looks like this, right? One variation looks like this, where it's like the perfect flip. There's one variation that looks like this, and again, you flip it, and there's one variation that looks like this. So I didn't consider that in every single case, you essentially use the 4 border cells, and I guess that's what Michael was trying to get us to look at there. So after needlessly color coding, what we've determined is that these must be our queen digits. It can't be 2, it can't be 1. It has to be, because of the work that I've done before, it has to be from the set 1, 2, 3, which actually I think means that 3 are our queens. If that's the case, that gives us double 1 here. That gives us 1 here, which means we have placed 6 1s and 6 3s. We are done with bishop queen. So at this point, it is just king, rook, knight, and pawn. We know that knights are 6s. We know that knights are 6s. Oh, sorry, this can't be 1 or 3 now. This is limited to 2 or 4. 3, this can't be 3. This, it can be 2. It can't be 3. It can be 4. And that's it. Greater than 7 can't use 1 or 3. It can't be double 6, because even though 6 is a knight and that should be allowed, double 6 would pull 6 out of both of these cells. And we know there has to be a 6 in at least one of these cells, if not both of these cells. So sorry. 6, in the same way that 6 can't go in both of these cells, 6 can't go in both of these cells. Because we've already said that 1, like the bishop was the only thing that could be vertically stacked on top of itself. Because of that, that means we can't have double 5 here to be greater than 7. So that means we need... No, sorry. Never mind. Never mind. I forgot about 4. I forgot about 4. It could be 4, 5. Let me just pencil mark the options. This can be from the set 2, 4, 5, 6. I said pencil marking is going to be my friend. 2, 4, 5, and 6. If it's 2, it definitely needs 6. So if it's 2, it has to be 6. If it's 4, it could be 5 or 6. If it's 5, it could be 4 or 6. And if it's 6, it can be any of them, right? So I'm essentially one third of the way through the puzzle. I've placed two out of the six possible digits already, but I don't know if that'll be one third of the time, which means we're going to be here for an hour, which I guess you guys already know because you know how long this video is. I don't know because I'm still in this time right now. I hope it doesn't take another 40 minutes, but if it does, then I guess it is what it is, as they say. Because this is actually very interesting. I really like this concept, and I'll be honest, I have no clue how Michael not only thought this up, but just like thinking it up is I don't want to say it's the easy part, but it definitely has to be easier than actually setting it to make it work. So the fact that he was able to actually set this puzzle is just something else entirely. I've pencil marked all the cages, so almost certain that that means I need to do something with the cages. 2 4 2 4 here. We're still missing king, rook, pawn. King, rook, pawn. If this was a 2, if this was a 2, it would have to be a rook. It couldn't be a king. It definitely couldn't be a pawn. If this is a 4, it could be a king or a rook, but again, it couldn't be a pawn. So whatever digit goes here will take the mantle of king or rook. If it's king and this is a 4, we could have I was going to say we could have two 4s here, but I don't think that's true. Because of rook, so it's actually funny. We had two anti-rook Sudokus that we've done in the past, which if again if you know how the rook moves, then you understand why it's kind of a gag. But Tony Zampini had set a special daily Sudoku puzzle for us um, a while back, and well, I say a while back, a month and 19 days back, but at least from when I'm solving this. Anyways, rambling aside as I do, it included an anti-rook constraint, and Bill Murphy, for that same day, also gave us an anti-rook puzzle. Anti-rook is just normal row and column rules. So if that's the case, in a rook move, I was going to say not Sudoku, a rook move digit, the rook digit needs to appear at least once in every row. Or no, it needs to appear, sorry, exactly once in each row and column, which means if this were 4 and we said that this were a king move, then 2 would be the rook move. And this would have to be 2. If 4 were a rook move, then this would have to be 2, and 2 would have to be king move. Which I think essentially means this is like a 2-4 pair. Which I think means 2 can never be a pawn. Actually, even better. Sorry. Because this is like a 2-4 pair, right? If we say that this is 2 and it's a rook's move, then this has to be 4. It would have to be king's move. If this was 4 and it was king's move, then we'd still need a rook's move. And if 4 was a rook's move, then this would have to be 2 and it would be a king's move. So no matter what, 2 and 4. So I was saying before, whatever digit goes here has to be a rook or a king. But actually, 2 and 4 have to be rook and king together. I don't know which one is which yet. But what I do know is that 5 is now a pawn's move. 5 is definitely a pawn's move. Five is definitely a pawn's move. So if we made this double 5, which I think is what we had talked about before, I don't see a problem with that. And if it's 4-6, then 4 is either king or rook, which means we've accounted for our rook, or because it's 4-6, that's fine. They don't have to be the same digit, which means it doesn't break the king or the rook's move anyways. 4-6 is different digits. So if 2 is king, then this is 4, and 4 is rook. If 2 is rook, then this could be 2 rook with 4 king here, or it could be 2 rook with 4 king here. I think I did that in the right order. 2-2. Actually, sorry, wow. 2 can't be 2 can't be rook's move. Because if 2 were rook's move, where would 2 go in this column? This is just like this is just it's insane and it's just so impressive. 2 must be king's move then, which means 4 is rook's move. That means this is 2 here. Again, this is king's move. 4 is our 4 in the row and column, which means these can no longer be 4. And that means that definitely a 6 has to go here. Before, it could have been 5, 4. Now it can't be. It is either 6 with 5 or 6 with 2. Because 5, 2 adds up to exactly 7, which is not in fact greater than 7. So, if a 6 has to go somewhere here, it tells us that one of these two won't be 6, which means this will be the 5, 6 version, but it does tell us that this is 6 here. And if this is 6 here, it tells us that this can't be 6. It tells us that this can't be 6, which means this can't be 4. And if this is 5, this could be 5 or it could be 6. But if it's 6, then this is definitely 5. So we don't exactly know what's happening with that. Oh, but exactly what we were looking at before, the same cell we were looking at, where does our rook go in this column? We've now eliminated 4 from here, which places 4 here. All right. 5, 6. This has to be a 5 pawn, which makes this a 2 king. And, sorry, the way I did that was I know it can't be 1. It can't be 2 by king's move. It can't be 3 because we've used all of our 3s. It can't be 4 by rook's move. It can't be 6 by knight's move, which means this must be 5. We know that 5 is a pawn. It eliminates that as an option here, which makes it a 2. Okay. I think actually we can apply that logic again. This can't be 1. It can't be 2. It can't be 3. It can't be 4. It can't be 6, which means we actually have a double 5 here. Which means that we have 3 5s within this set. Exactly 3 5s. 4 5 5s could allow for one more. If we don't make that a 5, and we make this 4 6 instead, then 6 would go here. This would be 5. We'd have triple 5s like this. And then the question is, where do we place another 5? Where do we place another 5? So we've accounted for 3 5s, right? We said that this is 6. So can't go anywhere here. This is 6 4. I'm going to place 3 more 5s. Neither of these two can be 5. Only one of these can be 5, so that's 4 5s. Oh, but that's fine, because this would be 5, this would be 5. And we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which we would promote to a knight. I guess you normally call that under promoting. So we'd under promote to a knight, and then if 5 went here, then it wouldn't matter. And if 5 went here, then we could under promote to a knight or a bishop. And either would be okay. Let me make sure I understand the... Yeah, you may choose which. It's not like it can only be... Like, if you're promoting a pawn, it can only be... Like, it's only possible for it to be one of those pieces. If that were the case, then actually that would be a really interesting constraint, and that would tell us that we actually would know the orientation of the 5, because 5 in this position could have been a knight or a bishop, but 5 in this position could only be a knight. So that actually could have been interesting, but I don't think that that is what the rules are saying there. All right. I think this has to be 5 though. It can't be for the same reason that we were looking at 5 here. I got a little distracted if if you didn't notice. It can't be 1. It can't be 2. It can't be 3. It can't be 4. It can be 5. Oh no, sorry, it can be 6. we've accounted for 3 6s here, but it could be 3 6s like this, and that would work because this could be a 6, and then this could be a 6. Hmm. I was just gonna place 5 there, but it can be 6. 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. Where would the last 6 go? 6 couldn't go here. 6 would have to go here or here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So we have options between these two cells. All right. 1, 2. Let's just pencil mark 2, 4, 5, 6. This can't be 6. We have an x-wing of force here and an x-wing of force here actually because of the rook constraint. Let's mark that before I forget. Not that I probably won't forget, but I guess just to have it there for housekeeping, as we say. This can be 2, 4, 5. It can't be 6 for the same reason this can't be 6 because of our anti-knight move. 2, 4, 5. I'm like looking at the time here, 38 minutes, counting up. If this is a 5, I think this breaks because actually I know it breaks because this becomes a 6, which places a 5 here, and we'd have a double 5 stack, which means this isn't possible to be a 5. Could be a 2 because there's no restriction, and one of these two has to be a 4. I don't really care which at this point, but it has to be one of them. All right, this is this is 256. This is 256. Neither of these two can be 2, so these are limited to 4, 6 because they can't be 5. 2, 4, 5, 6. This is going to be 4, 5, 4, 5, and this is going to be 2, 4, 5, I think. 2, 4, 5. Right. 2 5s, 3 5s. I think we already played this game. If these aren't 5s, then we can have 1 5 here, 1 5 here, and I guess a 5 here or here. 5, 6. Yeah. 2. We have 3 2s already. We can have a fourth 2 here or here, either one. We could have a fifth 2 here, a sixth and a seventh 2. You could even like place here, eliminate all these options and still be okay because of that corner option here. Sorry, I'm just like, I don't even know where to look at this point. I don't know if maybe I should just clear some of this pencil marking because it's just too much, you know? Like, let me just get rid of my corner marked fours. I think I can keep those in my head just fine. And honestly, get rid of the corner mark six. Eh, actually, no, I'll keep that. 3, 4. Let's go back to this. 3, 4. This wouldn't work. This would work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. Or 6. 6, 7. Otherwise, it would be like this. This could be a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excuse me. 6, 7, 8. Actually, wow. Well, you can't. I guess you can't place both these at the same time, but there's 8 possible placements, I guess. So it's not limited either. 5 here would force double 5 here. This would be 6. That means that's 6. This couldn't be 5 anyways because they would interfere. So this would be 6. So it would be this version of the 6. Double 5 places 6 here. Or not necessarily, sorry. It could place. Actually, wait a second. It does place 6 there because this is a 4-6 pair. So actually, I've been missing this entirely. I was saying a 6. Well, that's so funny. I said that accidentally and then I corrected myself and then I realized I was actually correct there. Just like this is a 5-6 pair, this is actually a true 4-6 pair. You can't have double 4 because of the way that this works. Which is actually interesting. Because now if we do double 5 here, it has to be 6-6, 4-4, and that works out perfectly. If it isn't 5 though, and it's 4 instead, what does that actually do? 4 would place 4 here. This would be 6, which means you would have 6-6 here, 6-6 here, double 4 here. This would be 5. This was 4, so it could be double 5 like this. You could have 6-2. And this could still be double 5. I don't know. I do not know. We've essentially accounted for every cage. Let me make a pencil mark here. This includes a 6, this includes a 6, because clearly I'm not going to remember that for some reason. The 6s will always go in sync, which means we're either going to have triple 6 across like this, which is fine, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we'd have 6 here. Or, sorry, I can still have 6 here. I forgot about that. I could have 6 here. So this is possible. If this is 6, then this is 4. I guess either way, it doesn't matter if this is 6. If this is the version of 6 that we go with, this is 4, this is 4, this is double 5, and then this is 6, and we're fine. Because actually, this couldn't be 5 if this was double 5, which it would have to be because this would be 4. So if this is the variation of 6 that we're going with, this will be double 5, this will be our 4, and this will be 6, and we'll have fully satisfied our 6's. If we go in the other direction, and 6 looks like this, then this would be 4, this would be 4, this would have to be 5, we'd have double 5 here. I guess we still need a 2, don't we? If this is 5, then this is 4. If this is 4, then this is 4, which means our 6's go like this, our 5's go like this, yeah, I don't see a problem. If this were 6 instead, then this would be 5. We would have 6 like this. Sorry, if this is 6, 6 like this, 6 here. This is 4, this is 4. We have double 5 here. 6 gives us 6 here, and then this would be 2 or 5. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Because, like, this is the one that would kind of cascade upwards. Like, if this is 5, this can't be 5. Or if this isn't 5, then the 5 cascades, but it doesn't do it. It just doesn't do it. Unless I forgot to consider this. No, I think I did. 5 gives us 4. 4 gives us 4. We end up with our 6's in this orientation. This is allowed to be double 5. Could even be 5, 2. This would be 4, 5, 5. This would be 6, so it wouldn't interfere. Yeah, I'm going down a rabbit hole that I don't think is correct to go down. The most obvious logic to me, I would think, is the king logic, right? But I think we already looked at the 2 and we've said that there's plenty of room because we've already used 3 2's. We only need 3 more. We can only have 1 here anyways, but that's 1 more slot. That's 4. And we can have up to 3 over here. Actually, maybe this doesn't work. Because sorry, I was just thinking about the 4 here. Maybe maybe it's my fault for deleting the 4's. Because now that I'm thinking about it in this new way, if it's 6 like this, then this can't be 6. This has to be double 5. If this is double 5, this can't be 2. This has to be 4. But then this has to be 4 and this is 4. So we've removed options for our 2. Oh, but we still, sorry. Even so, we still have 4, 4 would go here. This would be 2. So we've used 4 2s, but we can still have double 2 like this. Oh, we can't. Oh my, oh my goodness. We can't because in this crazy variation, which probably isn't the way that Michael wanted us to solve this, but in this crazy variation, then this is 6, which would mean this has to be 6, which means we have no way to place all of our 2's, which means this can't be 6. It must be 5, I think. I hope. I hope, which means this is 6. This must be 6. This is 4. This is 4. If that's the case, then 6 does give us 5. 5 tells us this can't be 5, and it can't be 6, which means it's 2. If it can't be 2, then this is 5, which means this is 6. We now have 5 6's. Sorry, we have 4 2's right now. We could get 1 2 or 2 2's from here, which doesn't mean this necessarily has to be 2 5 6. Now I feel like I didn't solve that correctly. Oh well, I'm here now. Let's not go back. It looks like we are going to hit an hour on the solve. Already over an hour on the recording. Four, six. If we make this 6 4, this would be 2. 4 would go here. We'd have 1 2 3 4 5 2's. Oh wait, that's oh, that's not too many sixes. Sorry. What did I do there? If this is 6, we've satisfied our 6's. We're done with 6's. This would be 4, which would make this 4. That's fine. We've now we've now satisfied our 4's. We need 2, 2, 3. Oh, we only need one more 5. Sorry, I thought we needed 2 more 5's. So that's valid. Oh my goodness. We only need one more 5, which means this is 6 4. This is in fact 2. This is 4. And I guess now the question is 2 5, but wait a second. Wait a second. If this is 5, what can it promote to? It can't promote to a knight, which is our generally safer value. It can't promote to a bishop. It can't promote to a rook, which means it can't promote to a queen either. Which means, in fact, it must be a 2. It cannot be our pawn. And this must be our 5. And we are done. 55 minutes and 37 seconds with 36 chessmen by Michael Lefkowitz. My my goodness. If you stuck with me for this whole thing, then then thank you. Um, if you tried it for yourself and you followed along here, then I'm sure you were sitting there just as not flabbergasted. That's not the word I'm looking for. Astounded, I guess, is a better word. Just sitting here astounded at what Michael put together here. I don't know what the correct logic was there at the end to figure out this six order because I really did go seriously down the rabbit hole. At first, I thought it was useless, and then I thought I found something here, and then this didn't matter. But then when I considered this in this orientation, then it did matter all of a sudden, and it was just an absolute mess. But I'm glad there at the end we came in under the 60-minute mark with realizing we had already accounted for five of our fives. So it just this was the only way to make it work. But anyways, all of that rambling aside, I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.